a view! All the way down there. Hey everybody, how's it going? One of the most frequently asked questions since I started this channel, what was it, 10 months ago, has been, what do you do in a day? What does a day in your life look like? So, finally, 10 months on, here we are. I shall endeavour to include as much detail on the sort of things I'm doing, what I'm eating, why I'm doing it, why I did things at certain times. It's going to be quite a busy day today, so I need to be properly on top of my timings. I'm looking forward to it. This is one of 2 training sessions, and the second one I'm going to talk you through when I get back to base. Right, so I'm at a place called Chapel Porth right now, which is, if you follow me on any social media or you watch these videos, you'd have picked up on this being my absolute favourite place in the world, especially today, because if you look down there, there's what, 2 people in the car park, not a single vehicle, no one else on the trails. It's just like a little piece of paradise. It's far enough away from everywhere that people don't always make the effort to come here, but equally it's close enough that it's really easy to get to. Just over there, in fact you can see it right now behind the camera, is the blowhole blown away, which I found the other day. I didn't find it, it's been there for a long time. Someone else knew about it well before I did. Anyway, it's just after 8 o'clock this morning. I've done an hour and 20 minutes already, so it's actually well after 8 o'clock now. It's nearly 9 o'clock. I woke up this morning just after 6, had some coffee. I've not eaten breakfast yet. I'm literally about to do that. I've done an hour and 15, and I think the power was around 220 watts to get to here. It's been up and down, but it's not been testing. Nice endurance, nice fasted endurance ride, as discussed with my coach Stefan Mastalla from Spokes. And the reason for that is just that I don't do a huge amount of endurance work at the moment because of everything being on a bit of a freeze, as it were, because we don't know when racing's actually going to happen here. So with that in mind, it's all kind of about maintenance. Now I'm going to talk you through the rest of the day as we get going, but right now I have to make a little bit of a dash for home to get back in time to start work, and I'll talk you through that when I do. What a start to the day. As you can see, the bad weather's properly on the way now, so it's definitely a good time to be going. Up over the wall, do not slide on the ground. So slippery. That is easily one of my absolute favourite stretches of this trail at the moment. Not sure why. It's not technical, it's just something about it, the view, the way it rolls, the way it flows, wet or dry. It's just good fun. I made it to the beach, which is the only real goal for this ride, other than of course actually pedalling. It's pretty rough today. Or not. Right, and then just after the beach we got the first and only real climb of the day. Didn't make my climbing video because it's actually not that hard. It's tough, but it's not in the top 5 in Cornwall. I don't think it's in the top 10 to be honest. It's the climb out the Blue Bar at Porth Tower. Go get across the sand first though. I don't want to put a foot down. That was poorly executed. And when it gets to the top, it is going to be time for breakfast. I have a nice little flapjack in my pocket. Keep it controlled. It's going to be hard enough tonight, so we don't need to go hard now. Stick it in first gear, suspension open and spin. And enjoy the waves. Trying to keep it steady as possible. I really don't want to be tired tonight. It's going to be another tough session. Instead focus on taking a good line. Right, this is the only real tough bit on this climb. If you go all the way up, in fact it's gone well, so we might as well. We have a tailwind, makes it a bit easier. Normally I go left there, but it gets quite narrow. Also, everything on my bike is set up really soft, so I've got a low grip at the moment. I say that just as I slip. It's great timing. But no, on the whole, the bike suspension, the tyres, mega soft compared to normal, and it actually rides really nice on the soft ground down on the rocks. A lot of grip. That was a little bit harder than intended. As long as the rest of the ride isn't, we're ready to go tonight. Don't let down. It's not going to be long before that's fenced off a bit. Right, next stop, Chapel Porth. Then we'll start heading home, start thinking about the rest of the day. This is not the sort of ride you want to do if you're scared of heights. Or if you're not confident. Always reassuring when you're not entirely sure where you are, or if it's a good trail, when you see other tyre tracks. They're pretty faint, but they're there. Slightly overgrown, as is often the case. So there are a few goals on today's ride. One of them is to spend as little time as possible actually on the road. Let me clean that lens. The other one was to let my body dictate the pace, rather than pay attention to a power meter or heart rate monitor. Just let it do what it wanted to do, sort of thing. And it's been quite a nice little effort, nice tempo. Not tried too hard on the climbs, not gone too easy on the flats or the downhills. It's just been lovely. This, however, is one of the longest stretches on the road. It's probably 500 meters or so. On the whole, I've managed to left, right, zigzag across the roads, all that sort of thing on bridleways. Wind's getting up, and we have a turning here somewhere. Not that one. Somebody's garden. Here we go. There's always a load more road on the way home. It's just the way it is with the sort of the way the trails are situated here. With this brilliant coast to coast path running from Devon to Portree. But as soon as you go north or south of that, what? Wow, that was a lot deeper than I was expecting. I sort of skirted around the edge of it on the way out. On the way back I figured, oh, wet enough. But no. That was ridiculous. That's up over the bottom bracket, over the hobs by the looks of it. Oh dear. And it smells like manure. Of course it does. Right, and now that I'm home, there's a bit of a set process for the way that I like to do things. Rinse off the bike and myself in the waterproofs whilst everything's still wet. Get inside, then I'll have a shower. Then it'll be stretching and eating at the same time. Let's get going. I have no idea how much yogurt I just had, but I had some yogurt, some honey, some peanut butter, some oats and some granola. Normally I have berries in there as well, but it's shopping day. We have an active family. Shopping day feels like every day. 2 young kids, 2 adults exercising all the time, so food doesn't seem to last long. I'm now going to hide myself behind the laptop for a couple of hours. Foolishly, the other night, or for a few nights in a row actually, I gave away a load of caps as part of my day job, and I now have to respond to around 100 emails saying, oh, could I please have your details, or sorry, you've not won this time. That's going to take a little while. After that, it will be lunchtime, and then it will be time to start getting ready for this evening, and I'll tell you all about my day job in a little while. I've gone through well over 100 emails just then, and they were all entirely my fault. I gave away a few caps on a Zwift ride that I did last week, and I'll explain more about why I've been riding on Zwift loads when we get to my place of work in just a moment. It's now 3:45, which is what, hours have just flown by. I've not even had lunch yet. Having a last minute coffee before tonight's training session, which is going to be a VO2 style session. It's going to be pretty grim, I think, especially in the warm studio. Anyway, I'm going to jump in the car now. I'd normally do the journey on the e-bike, but you can possibly even hear that it's absolutely chucking it down outside. I'm not really in the mood for getting wet, and also I can carry a little bit more equipment and things with me to get set up. The next time you see me, I'll be in the studio getting everything set up, and I'll talk you through what it is I'm doing. Made it into the studio a little bit later than intended, but this is where I spend a lot of my time at the moment. I'm going to get everything set up that I need to do for this evening, and then after I've done that, and maybe even after the session, I want to talk you through exactly what everything is here, what's going on, what I use it for, and hopefully you'll have a little bit of a better understanding. So one of the first things I have to do to set everything up is get the live stream ready, which is partly why I was practicing the other day with some live streams. I'm using a software called the OBS broadcast software, and it's relatively easy to do. You overlay a few decals and that sort of thing, and there are so many good tuitional videos on the internet, there's no point even going into that. Call them decals. They're different screens. You basically take images and captures from different screens and then the video from the iPad, which is what I run Zwift on. My own laptop, which I've had since June last year, that runs everything at the moment. Over there you can see the live stream that goes onto YouTube on the Lacole YouTube channel, where you can join us at 6:10 on a Monday and a Wednesday. Monday's real social, real steady. Not necessarily easy, but steady. Like the pace will be consistent. There'll be a new route once every 4 weeks, and they're all about having a little bit of fun, really. On the Wednesday, there is not a lot of fun at all. It's all about hurting yourself. Some really cool interval sessions that I've designed, sessions that I think will benefit everyone. Equally, sessions that I think will help the time pass quickly. They'll be challenging. You might start out thinking, I don't know if I can complete that, but then I genuinely believe that if you dig hard enough, everyone can get through them. You can always turn the settings on the turbo trainer up or down. So they all end up on YouTube as well, meaning that if you don't like riding Zwift, you can at least follow along on YouTube, which I think is probably one of the best things about that. What else can I show you? Some lighting, green screen, that helps me disappear into Zwift, which you can see on the screen if I turn the camera around right now. Just realised I didn't quite need to do it like that. And then the equipment that I get to use. So with St. Piran we use the Saros products, and as you can see over here we use the Wahoo products. I mean, I'm probably in a perfect position to do a direct comparison of the two of them. Equally, probably not the least biased person out there to do such a product review. All I can say is they're both fantastic. They both offer ever so slightly different things. Obviously this one is a complete bike, which means it can stay sat up, and then the Saros Turbo Trainer, which is actually just over there, you put your own bike on it. So there's pros and cons to both systems. So I might as well go into a little bit of detail with the setup. So that's a Blue Yeti microphone, which apparently is, not sure about the gold standard, but it's one that comes highly recommended for these sessions. I've created a desk out of an upside down TV box or monitor box. That is a 49-inch monitor. When you put Zwift on there, it is absolutely amazing compared to, on a small phone screen or something. Playlist that I created along with some help from the people at Lacole. That's the ride, or the YouTube version of the ride. Nice little desk. Obviously, all of these bits do come from Wahoo. So we've got the fan, the desk, the mat, the bike, absolutely everything that you would need to ride on Zwift. Then the LED lighting. Big borrow here from Alex, the tripod from downstairs. Thank you, Alex. And then the green screen. And that's, not sure if I mentioned it earlier, that's how you disappear into the world of Zwift when you then stick it into the OBS broadcast software. It's all fairly simple. It did take a little bit of time to actually learn what I was doing. I plug in the iPad into the computer via that little dongle over there. All learnt from GP Llama, if you've ever seen his YouTube channel. I think his name's Shane Miller. It's really good, genuinely really good. Much more fact-based and science-led and in-depth than what I could ever provide you, simply because he puts more effort into it, I would imagine. He's very, very good, very watchable. Go and check that out. Then the webcam up there, which also helps me disappear into the world of Zwift and make it look like I'm actually cruising along. We can probably even click onto the ride before I do disconnect everything. And then you'll see holding screen for a second or two, and then let's have a look. There we go. I failed that. You get the idea exactly what that looks like. So group messaging pops up there. Nice playlist over on the right hand side. That's enough waffle. You've seen the setup. I think it's amazing. Very, very lucky to use it. So I'm going to be on here within the next few minutes, going to go and change all my clothes. I'll give you a little time lapse of the session, which I think will be quite entertaining to watch back. How many times I reach for my phone. So that's one of the main things, is staying on top of the comments and replying to people, which I think is probably one of the most enjoyable parts of the job. You know, it is genuinely about communicating and being part of the community, which I don't think I'd ever really appreciated from Zwift until I started doing this, and it is good fun. So we're going to do that, and then afterwards we're going to meet up with Alex, who unbelievably is in the same building just downstairs. He does a social ride afterwards. Generally we do like another 45 minutes to an hour, which means that by the end of the day I should have done 4 hours of training. You get the idea there with the food. It's not really the sort of food that is becoming of an athlete's diet, but today's been one of those days where time seems to have completely run away from me. I spent way too long answering the emails earlier, partly because I'm not as fast as I'd like to be at that sort of thing. So we're going for convenience food. Hopefully later on the way home we can actually pick up some real food with a little bit more greenery in it, although that was quite a nice little snack an hour and a half before getting on the turbo, which is also cutting it fine before doing intense exercise. Right, it really is time to get changed. Lingering and spending longer talking to the camera doesn't mean that I'm going to escape the pain that's going to happen on the turbo trainer later, and I have a deadline. I have to be on there at 6:05, otherwise I'm going to miss the start. Post ride 1 snack time. Then I'm going to cool down for a little bit with Alex and Truro Cycling Club on their little easy ride. Well, easy, steady. Keep on using the wrong word for that. That was hard tonight. The window closed, fan on full. It must have been about, I don't know, 22 to 24 degrees in here. It was warm, it's hot and sweaty. To the point that I bailed on the first few work efforts, actually. I'll share a link to the video so you can see just how hard it was, but it was a real brutal one. It's a good session. VO2 efforts. Sorry. Mora, salady, ham and cheese sandwiches. VO2 efforts, 10 minutes times 50 seconds on, 10 seconds off, and then the interval became shorter, the recovery became longer. It was tasty, like my sandwich. Now I just need to make sure the live stream is all okay going onto the internet. All the data that goes into those videos is all good. Spin gently for 25-30 minutes, something like that. Then tidy up, head home, shower, relax on the sofa for a little while. Time to pack everything away. Live stream's all rendered or processed, whatever YouTube like to call it. Pack the laptop away, pack all the bits and pieces away, turn off all the electricity, head home for the evening, maybe via the shop for a little treat. I feel a lot better for having done a nice easy spin with Truro Cycling Club, and that set me up for a nice, well, not early bedtime, it's going to be hard to get to bed at this time of day, but